Hello, you join me today in front of the ocean, and I'm here with something incredibly special, the Mercedes-Benz S500 Cabriolet. Think of it more as a kind of a land yacht, something exotic and exclusive, which is at home cruising in the south of France or here on the beautiful Cape Town beachfront. Let's take this latest generation vehicle for a drive and find out just what it has to offer. It's out here on the road that the Mercedes-Benz really does shine. You see, as I mentioned, you don't so much drive along here in something like the S-Klasse Cabriolet. Instead you waft, as if you're in an ocean-going yacht. It glides along with a kind of graceful presence and prowess that's hard to really describe on video. That's something that's got to be felt. It really is like floating along on a magic cloud. And that's owing to the fact that the Mercedes-Benz is driven with airmatic suspension. Also the fact that the vehicle uses a whole array of cameras which map out the area ahead of you, the driving surface, and literally make changes and adjustments all the time. So if there's a bump coming up, the car gets itself ready for that, and you simply glide over it as if it doesn't exist. It really is something incredible. Now as you drive along here, this being an S-Class, it is spookily quiet. I can reduce myself to whispering if I want to, and that's up to speeds of rounds I've done up to about 100 kilometers an hour. In fact, Mercedes say up to 120. You can actually end up speaking at not much higher decibels than you do with the top up, driving along, cruising along a beachfront like I am now. It is absolutely incredible the way they've managed to insulate sound so beautifully in this S500 Cabriolet. Now with the S-Class, it's driven by people at the top. I'm talking presidents of international companies as well as presidents of entire countries either drive or are chauffeured in an S-Class Mercedes-Benz. It's therefore a car for people who expect the best, people who travel first class by a Mercedes S-Class, and it's evident when you get inside this vehicle. You literally are cocooned in a world of materials that the grade is only at home in something like a palace. I've got leathers here which are phenomenally well stitched together. Not a stitch out of place. It is beautiful. With this cognac colored interior, you sink into these seats. I've been in a lot of lounges and slept in a lot of beds that don't have the comfort of sitting in these armchairs. Now of course, there's a whole host of different drive modes available, and there's a whole host of different seating positions available. Next to me I've got my seating controls. Now these seats are heated, of course, they're also cooled. But they're not cooled in the conventional way where it's just an outlet from the air conditioning pushing out at you. In fact, the air sucks back, and somehow, in an almost magic way, whether it be a cold morning start where you put on the heating mode, or that hot summer's day, it sucks that coolness straight into your body and it cools you down beautifully well. Now in terms of comfort, these seats also have a massage mode. You can select, for example, the type of massage you want. So I go here into the seating options. Oh yeah, that feels good. I think a nice hot stone massage will work for me. I can simply select it, and 14 air pockets inflate and deflate, massaging me as I drive along. It's therefore a very relaxing car to drive, and they say in an S-Class your heart beats as much as 5 times fewer per minute than it does in something like, say, a BMW or Audi. You therefore drive along incredibly relaxed. Now the power and figures it produces are immense. It's not the kind of car that I need to bang on about how many kilowatts or newton meters of torque it produces. What you do need to know though is just how immediate the engine is and just how much torque there is. You see, all the power is mated to a 9-speed gearbox, and the gear changes are so seamless and smooth, it jumps through them so quickly You literally set off and it feels like you're floating on a cloud. As you get into the higher gears, you notice they're much more overdrive kind of gears, and they're there just to deal with the massive torque which is under the bonnet. It means that you waft along here with this yacht line presence, and you know that you've got the kind of power that if a car pulls up next to you and you see in the need to get round him, it's just the slightest dab of your foot and you'll be round him in a second. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class Cabriolet gives you an imposing kind of presence which is unlike anything I've ever driven. You actually drive up next to your other Euro boxes on the road and you look at them and you think like, I'm better than you. I'm somehow driving something here which is just superior. What can I say? It really is that sense of importance and really does let you know that automakers have come such a long way. Now when you think ABS, when you think a whole host of safety systems and you think technology, the first car that should spring to mind is the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. You see, the S-Class is always at the pinnacle of the technology market. What we see emerging on an S-Class normally ends up emerging a couple of years down the line on some of the other mass market cars. It's a glimpse into the future and into what other automakers will be doing. Now this S-Class, of course, is in keeping. Up front of me I've got two massive screens. They're 12.3 inches each, and they're put side by side. The central one is controlled with the Mercedes-Benz command system. It's this comfortable central jog dial. You can simply glide through the functions. Of course, it's media from every imaginable source, and it's all delivered oozing through the beautiful Burmester audio system, which comes as standard. Above that, I've got a touchpad. It's gesture-based controlled, and it lets you control everything else in the vehicle. You can also use lingotronics and tell the vehicle what you want it to do. Apart from this, up front of me, I've got this massive digital instrumentation cluster. Now it's all extremely clear, and of course you can customize it, but it gets a lot more clever than that. You see, this car's got a stereoscopic camera, and using something which Mercedes term Night Vision Plus, you can simply press this little switch here at the top, and suddenly your speedometer becomes a night vision camera. Weirdly, it's not distracting. It lets you see the cars in front of you, but it does it all in a very undistracting way. And it'll even highlight, for example, cyclists, dogs, or people crossing the road. This having all kinds of clever safety systems, there is pre-safe systems. So if somebody walks out in front of you and you don't recognize them, the car will come to a halt by itself. There's so much to fall in love with here, and it's toys you only see on an S-Class Mercedes-Benz. A couple of years back, I saw the Mercedes-Benz Concept Ocean Drive. At the time, it revealed what looked like a four-seater S-Class with a folding cloth roof. And I yearned to have Mercedes introduce a vehicle like that, just to be able to experience S-Class with the top down. Now, fast forward a little, I'm experiencing it, and where they often say, you don't want to meet a car that you yearn to meet because it'll only disappoint. In fact, the Mercedes, it's completely inverse. The sublime ride, the attention to detail, the levels of quality, and the fact that you can waft along at decent speeds with wind outside and speak at a whisper, and it'll let you do all of that. When the sky is blue, there is nothing better than being in a Mercedes-Benz S-Class Cabriolet. From me, Jason of Technobok, until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Cheers for now.
Technobok.